This latest piece of news from Hedera HBar has everyone absolutely pumped within the community. We've seen HBar up 15.2% today, but I've got a massive warning for you if you're thinking about diving in and buying HBar right now, because not everything is as it seems. Hit the like button and let's get into this video. Now, before we make the video, guys, I just want to thank you for 35,000 subscribers. I'm giving away $100. All you got to do to enter that, hit subscribe, hit the like button, and write down below your favorite cryptocurrency, and I'll choose a winner tomorrow. Now, guys, as we look into crypto bubbles across today in the top 100 coins, HBar ruling the roost. Extremely exciting stuff. FedNow adds Hedera HBar's partner as service provider. You've probably seen this banded around everywhere, and I've seen a ton of YouTubers giving you the most exciting story ever about what this means for Hedera HBar. Don't get me wrong, guys. This is a phenomenally exciting piece of news. Basically, the US Federal Reserve, who run like the financial system within the United States, are now adding a partner of HBar called Drop micropayments platform as a service provider. And this is obviously very, very positive, because Hedera, for as long as I can remember, has been building massive, insane partnerships with tons of different organizations. And ultimately, this is the narrative that everyone gets very excited about. And it tends to mean that in the future that there will be a bigger demand on the network, and ultimately there'll be a better value in the tokens. That's possibly true, and something that rightly so people can be excited about. But there's something I want to draw your attention to, and it's based off of what I read this morning in my free Telegram group. Just link down below, jump in there, where someone said that charts don't matter at all. It's complete rubbish. All that matters is news. News is the only thing that moves charts. And I didn't take it personally. And I'm not upset, because I believe personally that charts are important and that they do pretty much dictate everything. But I want to address this because something very weird happens when it comes to news and what everyone's understanding of what news is there to do and what the result of the news ultimately is. Now, when a really good quality piece of news comes out like this, we do have an instant reaction in the price. But following on from that, I want you to also consider something really important. As the price of any asset increases, people who bought lower down are more willing to sell. And this is true, and people get really pissy and really upset about it. I made this video on Casper about a week ago, which was the talk of the town, okay? Not my video, but Casper was the talk of the town. And it was because of this, because Casper, ever since all the way back in May, was up around 300%, and I made a video when Casper was sat somewhere around here, saying that it was probably due a pullback. I'm not just showing you this to show you what a legend I am at identifying this pullback, although no big deal, pretty much nailed it. I did tell everyone that, you know, Casper was overbought and we would likely see people selling it off. And everyone's like, Casper's completely different, it's way better than every other cryptocurrency. The reason charts matter is because they show behavior of buying and selling. Yes, the news has an impact in moving the charts, but the behavior of the mass market is what we're paying attention to when we're looking at charts. Now, we can come back, and this is really important because it allows us as well to look back in the past and identify how news affects different charts. And this is something I want to look at. This story is from February the 14th, Valentine's Day, back in 2020. Google partnered with Hedera HBar. It can generate $1.9 billion by 2024, which is next year. $1.9 billion. Big news. February the 14th. Let's go all the way back, shall we, to find February the 14th, 2020 for HBar and see what really happened on that wonderful day. As we come back to Valentine's Day, February 2020, while you were out on your dates and doing whatever it is that you do on Valentine's Day, here you can see what happened to HBar. We had some good news from Google, which is probably the result, this big candle here, or this kind of like bullish or black candle, which, you know, if you couldn't see what came after it, you were like, oh, it's going to bounce here, and it was going to carry on. But ultimately, it came after this big pump here. The good news came in as the big money was trying to sell off, okay? Because at this point, the big money, you can see, was moving the price down. Now, I'm not saying that we're going to see a sell-off in HBar right now, but I guarantee, guys, tons of people would have been diving in, FOMOing in there, without really having looked at a chart. And on that day, HBar was up again, 17%, 15, 17%. And then from that day, you know, it did pump up a little bit further, and then it came down 30%, and then eventually it came down 51%, and, you know, eventually it came down 70%, 69%, Now, I'm not saying that this is exactly what's going to happen again, okay? But what I am saying is don't just get excited and pumped by this piece of news that drops and just jump into a chat group and hear some bloke being like, oh, charts bullshit. You know, the only thing we should be paying attention to is the news, and the news about HBar is just going to see us going up forever. How many times have I got to like make a video like this and endure loads of angry little men in the comments? Guys, look, every time we see a thing happen like this, if you bought HBar, you were buying HBar, let's say yesterday, and you put in like, let's say $500,000, let's say $1 million, because my math isn't that good and it's easier for me to work out. And there would have been people potentially buying $1 million worth of HBar over the last couple of days. Who knows? People who knew this news was coming out. HBar then pumps 15%. You make $150,000 profit. Are you telling me that you're not going to pull some of that money out of there? Guys, you know I'm right, okay? You might not think that because maybe you bought like down here and you're like, oh, diamond hands, I'm going to hold this forever. Cool story, right? That's completely pointless. We're looking to buy low and sell high, and the big money will always take money out. They didn't get rich by having diamond hands, okay? Sorry, guys. They got rich by buying and selling at different points, okay? To buy the lows and sell the highs. Now, we can look at this chart, and whilst, yes, you're right, charting is not a zero-sum game, there is, like, mistakes and things you can make. Not just mistakes, but charting doesn't guarantee you the results, okay? We're looking at probabilities. That is fundamentally all charting is. Okay. And guys, I just want to announce that this video is sponsored by Grape, and I know that's starting to annoy people, but I've been in touch with the founders today, and I've actually found out some really exciting stuff about this project and where I think it could be going in the future. Currently, Grape has basically been specially crafted for GameFi and Metaverse space, but not limited only to those, and that's because it has a massive ability to deal with up to 700,000 transactions per second by using something called Vine, which is a direct acyclic graph or a DAG consensus, almost quite similar in a way to the way that Hedera HBar works and also how Casper works. But this is slightly different from those, as it also employs an AI element in AND. Okay, this effectively drags up its overall functionality to enormous new levels because it allows non-technical people like yourself and myself to be able to build dApps directly onto the platform. And this can be done without any coding or anything by using the AI tools. It's bridging the gap between Web 2 and Web 3 and ultimately is now sort of seen as perhaps even a Web 4 element, being that it's bridging those two things together. You may have seen this marketed everywhere, but it's really important that it's getting marketed everywhere because now it's one of the most exciting new projects out there. You've got the opportunity to buy through the link down below in the description where you'll get an additional 10% in tokens. I believe the price right now is around $46. But on Bitmart Exchange, it's currently set around $100, and it's possible that the actual launch price will be around $100, which could potentially gain you a good chunk of cash if you buy in the pre-sale over on the website, link down below. And that's an exclusive one there, guys. You'll get your additional 10%. Now, what we can see on HBar is important. This orange pattern is a rising, whatever you want to call it, slice of cheese, rising wedge, rising corridor. I don't care. Okay, right, what it is effectively though, typically can be a bearish pattern. Now, I'm not saying that HBar doesn't have the power to do this right now. I actually think it could potentially do that, okay? But time and time again, everyone just sees the coin of the day that's pumping. No one is even talking about Casper today because Casper's down like 4 or 5%. Everyone's like sold at Casper now, probably at a loss because they bought the top and now they're trying to buy HBar at the top. And then HBar will drop, and then they'll try and buy something else at the top. Stop buying tops. How many times? Okay? Look at what's happening right now. It's run into resistance here, and we can see it's running into resistance. Yes, it does appear to be remaining strong, and I'm not saying it can't break through here, but these wicks towards the upside do indicate a price that's starting to slow down and could well see a return. Look at what happens every time it runs in. Wicks towards the upside equal potential for a downside move, and it happens every single time. Wicks towards the upside equal potential for downside moves. Now, obviously you do get wicks on the way up, but this, guys, has a big extension in. Wicks on the upside do tend to move potentially down. If HBar cools off like that, then you'll get another 15% for your money. I know, and you know, that in the longer term, this is fantastic news for HBar. This is not necessarily anything to do with market manipulation, but the news isn't what you buy. You don't buy after the news comes out. You buy the rumor, you sell the news. And that's because the rumor creates the hype and excitement. And as soon as that news drops, all of the dumb money rush in and buy it, while all of the smart money is offloading their positions. That's exactly how it works. And you can say what you want, guys. I don't really care, okay? But this is exactly how it works. HBar right now is at high risk of a pullback because it's pumped like this. Now, lots of people I know instantly get really like broken by this and broken-hearted because I've said their favorite currency could have a pullback. A pullback, remember, if you want to buy HBar and you want to make money in HBar, if you believe that HBar is going higher, you want it to pull back. The longer it stays lower, the happier you should be, because you're not trying to make money exactly right now. We still can see some time. And actually, we then say, well, we've broken through this blue pattern here, which interestingly enough is what the Bitcoin chart looks right this second. And if it pulls back, I think we could come back potentially to retest either this orange line or this blue line, and then we can see a pump. So that would mean a potential for a pullback of around 15%. My point of this, guys, isn't to like bash HBar. HBar's class, okay? I've told you for a while that I've been holding HBar, and I do believe it's got great upside potential. But I'm trying to get you out of the process of just looking at the shiny thing. And I want you to stop losing your attention every time you see something shiny or something, you know, out in the kind of distance. Wake up, okay? You're not just like looking at butterflies, okay? Just stop losing your attention on stuff. More to the point, because if you can focus on where we are fundamentally on the charts, then you get to buy in at good positions. Like all the people who were actually paying attention to the charts over the weekend, who probably identified something very, very simple on HBar, which was a buy zone. And yet, you know, without that news, we wouldn't have known necessarily what it's going to pull back. Look, this is the buy zone. You can see the buy zone. We rip out of it. We come back in. We retest it. This would be a good time to buy. If you were buying in this buy zone, then good on you, because you're currently sat 17, 18% up. Wait for the buy zones. Don't buy on pumps. Simple stuff. But overall, very positive for HBar. Very excited for what the future holds. You will get a chance to buy on a pullback, because pullbacks always happen. Whether it happens now, who knows? If it's going to go up and pull back again, then you might get a better chance. But stop buying green candles, because at some point you're going to buy a green candle and then you're going to buy the green candle and this is going to happen to you. And I know lots of people who weren't paying attention will think I'm saying this about HBar. I don't think HBar is going to do this, okay? I think worst case, HBar comes down to around 54 cents and that gives you another bite of the cherry. You better hope it does come down to 54 cents, guys, because that is a great time for you to be buying, in my opinion, not financial advice, rather than buying now. If you enjoyed today's video, hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.